I paid my dues, man. I paid my dues. And I earned my right to speak on this subject.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about the gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
You're watching the MC Too Tall Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. We're going to talk about the scene, man. The scene. And all the dues I paid and how I earned my keep and got the right to speak on matters music scene related. I played in venues throughout Brooklyn, Manhattan, mostly Lower East Side Manhattan. Played a couple of venues in Queens. Did the Mermaid Parade 2-3 years in a row. It was a pretty nice, interesting thing. But if you probably don't remember me, it's probably because it was so long ago that I did the Mermaid Parade. That was like way back in 2008. 2009, 2010, right around there. I got to play one of the beef stocks. I participated in Beef Stock 9 in 2010. So that was interesting. Yeah, it was a nice 3-day event. It was kind of like Woodstock, only, it was our music of our scene all the way up in the Catskills there. Little town called Big Indian, New York, at a place called the Full Moon something or other. I forget. But to my understanding, they're still in business. And Joe Filosa, one of the people who drummed for me in the past, had connections up there. And it was called Beef Stock because he was part of the band called Plastic Beef. And their most known song is The Pyramid. Oddly, I would end up playing The Pyramid and promoting a monthly event called Elevation there. One of several places where Elevation took place. Had a nice little gig in the beginning with Elevation at the 2FL. And it was in Gravesend, and people traveled all the way to Gravesend, Brooklyn. People from the goth scene traveled all the way to Gravesend. I had Sean Templar DJ for me, DJ Distort. My resident DJs were Switch Hitter and Gunny. So you couldn't get a better crew than that. I had a few nice people that I was able to plaster on the flyers so that people could look at it and say, oh, this person looks goth. Must be a goth party. Let me come over and check it out. And they were not disappointed. And when we had the events at Pyramid, the audience grew. And the audience got even bigger when we moved it to Lucky 13. Lit Lounger was kind of hit and miss. We had a few good nights, few not so good nights. The event at Lit Lounge was a weekly party. that I did called Red Planet. It was Tuesday nights at Lit Lounge. And my DJs there, my DJs were Speed Baser, Rumble Filthskin, and Ilson the Immortal, with the occasional guest DJ appearances by Raven Massacre, who also DJ'd Elevation when it was at Lit Lounge. So I promoted party events, concert events, that sort of thing. Plus, booked my own shows, performed at Rocky Sullivan's, Otto's Shrunken Head, Freddy's Bar and Back Room, and the Parkside Lounge, with connections through DJ Spaz, with DJ Orton. I was able to get in the month right after Bile appeared there. We were the next act after them the following month at a place called Sapony Lounge, which I don't believe is in business anymore. They are, but they have like a different name. I think Area or something like that. So I did my thing, man. I did my thing. And people like my music. A lot of the favorites from the goth scene of my albums came out of Killer Killer Outpost and A Fiery Red Horse, with a couple of songs from New Logos and New Marketing Schemes. A lot of the people from the punk scene and a lot of the hip hoppers were into my first three albums, which were Conglomerate, Industrialization, and Aeronautics. And if you haven't heard of Aeronautics, that's a pretty cool album. It was a nice little crossover album before I started making things darker. The unique thing about A Fiery Red Horse, I always champion myself on this, is that I did not curse in that album, but I still put the parental advisory sticker because I talk a lot of esoteric shit about people with certain levels of authority, unearned and undeserved, or people that were given power by we the people, who then went on to abuse that power and grandfather it down from generation to generation. And that's pretty much the gist of most of the things I speak on in my lyrics in the album of Fiery Red Horse. Killer Killer Outpost was just an angry album. It was a lot of shit talking. It's like no holds barred. It was basically the rawness. It was the rawness of the Conglomerate with sophisticated instrumentals of Aeronautics and beyond. And people like that. A lot of the hip hoppers like my album Industrialization and Aeronautics. And they dig a couple of songs out of the Conglomerate. But be honest, I didn't have a lot at my disposal to work with to make that album. So a lot of people don't find it listenable, but they understand the artistic value of it. I did a lot of experimental beats on there, and there's a couple of fill-in tracks. I got a little fill-in track called Yo Bro. It's very abstract sounding. No lyrics. The extent of the lyrics is just me going yo 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 bro, yo bro, yo bro. And what I do is I revisit that when I did the song $10 Bill. Second verse, I say, you want to talk impact? Now, what do you know? I shocked the world when I simply said, yo, 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 bro. And there's actually a music video for the song Yo, Bro. And it's hilarious. It's don't try to make sense of it. Don't try to make sense of it. But, you know, if it pisses you off to hear me say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, then I will say that just to piss you off. Even if I might know better, I would say it just to piss you off. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Actually, the greatest thing since sliced bread is my song Cleanse with Fire. The deep, meaningful lyrics. Oh my God. I think the only song that might rival that of mine would be Goat, Snakes, Ravens, and Scorpions, also known as GSRS. And version 2.0 is the cool one. That's the danceable one. If you could tolerate the person doing the hook on that. And I'm contemplating on remaking that, doing a 3.0 or 3.1. Jane Bang or Natasha Comas. If you're listening, I may need your vocal support for remaking Goat, Snakes, Ravens, and Scorpions. And I might word it out, Goat, Snakes, Ravens, and Scorpions this time, instead of GSRS. I might call it GSRS version 3.0 or Goat, Snakes, Ravens, and Scorpions. And maybe give it more of an industrial sound. But it's pretty cool the way it sounds. No. Another fan favorite is my song Dark and Angry. And I get nothing but positive comments on my music because people like my music. Now, not everybody's going to like my music. There is no type of music that is for everybody. There are people that hate the Beatles, Elvis Presley, and Frank Sinatra. That you'll actually run into individuals, and that individual that you run into will despise Elvis, Frank Sinatra, and the Beatles. Most people love all three. But you'll have some that like the Beatles, but don't care for Elvis too much. They kind of tolerate Sinatra, or they hate Sinatra, love the Beatles, kind of tolerate Elvis, or they completely despise Sinatra and Elvis, and they completely adore the Beatles. Usually they cross over, and they're also Stones fans for whatever reason. It just falls into place like that. But there are actually people that hate all three. There are actually people that will, because of Jerry Lee Lewis's personal life, not listen to Jerry Lee Lewis. There are people who stopped listening to Jerry Lee Lewis just because they found out he was Jimmy Swaggart's cousin. And Jimmy Swaggart had that controversy. May both good men rest in peace. Okay? And by the way, before Elvis died, he and Jerry Lee Lewis made peace. I mean, hey, they were $1 Million Quartet buddies, along with Johnny Cash and my buddy Perkins over there. But anyway, I'm getting away from myself with this. Bottom line is, I paid my dues, I earned my keep, and I could speak on basically the genres of at least out of the local bands and the local solo acts and stuff like that. I could speak on things scene related and out of the people that perform their music primarily in the Lower East Side at places like, well, Pyramid's not in business anymore, but anybody that performed at Pyramid, anybody that performed in the same venues that I performed at, Otto Shrunken Head, Rocky Sullivan's in Brooklyn, Parkside Lounge on Houston, corner of Attorney Street. See, I remembered. And so I could speak on bands, solo music acts, and even DJ party promotions that occur in these venues, because I've done this stuff myself. I've collaborated with punk bands. I've produced for a goth artist. I've produced for hip-hop artists. Of course, I made hip-hop music myself. And I would say I did a pretty damn good job at crossing over. Some people, when they try to fuse two different genres, they end up getting hated by fans of both. Like, people claim Kid Rock is one such artist. And I believe he's a hardcore rocker and also real hip-hop. Like, if somebody said, play me a hip-hop track, and I have to choose between playing you something by Jay-Z or something by Kid Rock, I would sooner play American Badass by Kid Rock than play, Give It To Me by Jay-Z. And Jay-Z even had the help of Pharrell with that one. But what could you do? You know? I kind of preferred Shake Your Ass as the better song with Pharrell doing guest vocals on there. But that's just me, you know? You don't have to have the same exact taste in music in me. Just know that mine is better. And I have excellent taste in women too. I have, as at least aesthetically. I might not be a good judge of character, but at least aesthetically, I got good taste in women. All foxes, no dogs. Ruff. And so, here's where we're at with this. I could, at any time, speak on a band, give my opinion on YouTube here, talk to you about them. And I could say some of the hip-hop acts I like. I like M-Tri. I booked him several times. I booked him at Southpaw. And I was going to book him at Parkside Lounge. But didn't work out that way. But I did book him a few times at Southpaw, which was a huge venue in Park Slope, Brooklyn. A lot of good artists performed there. We're talking about freaking, for starters, Nonfiction performed there. When they were a whole group, Big Daddy Kane performed there. I got to see Nice and Smooth perform there. Black Star performed there. I believe Brand Nubian might have performed there, but a lot of the old school acts, Dana Dane, Dingo D from Leaders of the New School, mad cool people performed there. Poison Pen, you might know him from his guest appearances on Immortal Techniques albums. Lots of really good artists there. And it wasn't just hip-hop. You had some hip-hop acts that had side projects, that had rock projects too. The owner of the place, Mikey Palms, was in a band called Chances with Wolves. And to my understanding, they're still out there touring and stuff and doing great, which I could say good for him. Why the hell not? And Mikey Palms is a great guy. You know, a lot of people talk about South Fever. Mikey Palms was the early 2000s era South Fever. Just saying. That's how I see it. And you had some people that were just the right people to be at a certain place at a certain time that you couldn't picture anybody else there. Okay, like Lit Lounge, for example. My weekly and monthly parties, when they were held at Lit Lounge, I have to lend credit to the bartender and manager that worked there in that time, Jeremiah Black. Shout out to Jeremiah Black. And he had his own event on Wednesdays called Dungeon X. And it was cool when Jeremiah was doing it. Whatever spin-off thing that's going on, I don't know about that. You know? I don't know anything about it. I don't even know the people doing it. I mean, maybe a couple of people that I waved hello to in passing. But nobody I have any type of, I can't say anything good or bad about them because I simply don't know them like that. I don't even know their damn names, to be honest. And and I'm not saying that to be insulting. I'm just saying it because facts is facts. Somebody's got to be as known as MC Too Tall, and somebody has to not be as known as MC Too Tall. And it's a whole different world, whole different thing that I don't mess with, and that's actually an aspect of the scene that I backed away from. Like, I used to support, I still cheer on and give a thumbs up to, from afar, the DJs and the promoters of these BDSM themed dance parties. They still get kudos from me. They still get applause from me from afar. But as far as getting entrenched in that world, I'm not one to do that anymore. Because, I would get sucked into a life that's contrary to who I've evolved into. Doesn't make me better. It just makes me on a different plane, so to speak. Okay? Think of it as a separate but equal kind of deal. So, out of there, I want to give a shout out to Carrie Monotrem, shout out to Chris Smack, and a shout out to a gentleman by the name of Powder. And an additional shout out to Felix Latex. He's a good guy. I remember breaking chops and saying, yeah, there was this freaking big fat bass and Felix Latex fell on the Chinese girl. And there's a big pile of twisted wood and everything. And you just hear out of the pile, I'm all right. Just breaking chops. And I'm talking to him, pretending that I don't know it's him. And it was hilarious. He didn't find it funny. And my bad. But I kind of did that as a ribbing. But good times, good times. Oh, you know who I performed with? Is anybody familiar with the Spiritual Bats that later changed their name to Spiritual Bat because they became a duo? Instead of a group, I mean, it was both were projects by Dario Passamonte, but Spiritual Bat. I performed with the Spiritual Bat. And it was a show that I booked where I had them headlining, and it was Vessel, which was comprised of solo act comprised of Lou R from Decay Until Gone, and he branched off to form Vessel, which, wow, they're around like 15 years now, 14, 15 years now. Vessel, pretty damn cool. So then I got on there with the DJ that I had at the time, and then we segued into Job's set. For those of you not familiar with Job, he was the drummer from the Empire Hideous, and he wanted to branch off and show his vocal talents. And so he did that, and he's got a great voice. He does like a lot of the influx with the voice, kind of like the Virgin Prunes, if you're familiar with that group. So he kind of has like a very haunting kind of sound, a very unique sound. And I did a track with him. It's on my New Logos and New Marketing Schemes album, and I got a video for that on YouTube. The song is called Society Does Not Understand Me. MC Too Tall featuring Job. Spelt like the man from the good book, The Story of Job. So it would be spelled Job, but there's kind of like the little long O accent above the O. So, yeah. After Job, then came the Spiritual Bat. And unfortunately, that wasn't a big showing there. There wasn't a lot of people that showed up to that event. However, whoever showed up there got to see some hell of a show. It was one hell of a show, and people missed it. And it was a damn shame that people missed it. But what could you do, you know? What could you do? People are just stupid. And I think it was inorganic, and that people started boycotting. People started boycotting because I believe there was somebody who was talking mad shit about me, and it's I don't know who, but yeah, there was a faction of assholes that used to talk mad shit about me in the scene, and I got to find out exactly who some of them were, but not all of them, and that gives me every right to have a chip. Does it look like a chip? Yeah, see, my shoulder's chipped. I got a chip on my shoulder. And I have every right to have a chip on my shoulder about certain people of the scene. And what I notice they all had in common, here's where the political thing ties in. All Democrats, all people who kissed that animal Barack Obama's ass. All people who were so on Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's dicks that I say, you know what? Fuck the Obamas. Fuck Hillary Clinton. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Kamala Harris. Fuck Nancy Pelosi. Fuck Dianne Feinstein. Fuck Harry Reid. Fuck all these Democrats. Except Jesse Jackson. He was nice to me. We met in person and he was actually nice to me. So when people say rest in peace, Jesse Jackson, I'm like, no. The man was nice to me. He was okay with me. You know, people don't get why him and Donald Trump got along. They just did, okay? Not everything is politics, even amongst people who are into politics. Not everything is politics. You got to look at it that way. But with some people, for political reasons, you know, put out the word to start boycotting me. And, okay, well, you know what? I'm still making a living, still releasing the occasional song here and there. And I found another platform by which to show my face and talk my shit and let my nuts hang. And that is what you're watching here, the MC Too Tall Show. And so, there you have it. And I'm so glad I took a half an hour to tell you this and speak with you for a half an hour just to come to this. With that said, so many levels of hell where belong the left. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. I'm so MAGA, people ought to be looking for me to beat the shit out of me. And nobody died because of Donald Trump that didn't deserve it. And with that said, on to thee I say, respect God, watch out for the Illuminati. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, especially share this video. Tell all your friends about me. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy, in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, and composer of the song Cleanse with Fire, MC Too Tall. Till next time.